He stepped in front of flying arrows to save the alien girl. The reward was worth every scar. The market square of Zelthar Prime erupted into chaos as the first arrow whistled through the air. Marcus Chen, human ambassador to the Valori Confederation, had exactly 3 seconds to process what was happening before instinct took over. The young Valori girl, no more than their equivalent of 12 years old, stood frozen in the crossfire. Her crystalline skin caught the binary sun's light as her large, luminous eyes widened in terror. The assassins had miscalculated their trajectory, or perhaps they simply didn't care about collateral damage. Either way, those poison-tipped arrows were about to turn a diplomatic incident into an interstellar tragedy. Marcus didn't think he moved. His body collided with the girl's smaller frame, sending them both tumbling behind Avendor's stall. The first arrow struck his shoulder blade with a sickening thud. The second caught him in the ribs. The third grazed his thigh as he twisted to shield her completely with his body. Pain exploded through his nervous system, white-hot and all-consuming, but he held his position. The Valori girl's safety was all that mattered. The marketplace security forces neutralized the attackers within minutes, but those minutes stretched into eternity for Marcus. The poison worked quickly through his bloodstream, designed to incapacitate Valori physiology within seconds. Human biology, however, processed toxins differently, slower, but infinitely more painful. "Stay down," he managed to grunt to the girl whose name he learned later was Zelthar, daughter of High Chancellor Vorin. "Don't move." His vision blurred as the world tilted sideways. The last thing he saw before losing consciousness was Zelthara's terrified face, her hands glowing with the faint bioluminescence that signaled extreme Valori distress. As she screamed for help in her melodic, crystalline language, Marcus woke 3 days later in the Valori medical synthesis chamber. His body wrapped in regenerative biomesh that hummed with alien technology. Every nerve ending felt like it had been dipped in acid and set on fire. The scars across his back, shoulder, and ribs pulled tight with each breath, permanent reminders that Valor regeneration tech could heal, but never erase completely when used on human tissue. High Chancellor Vorin stood at the foot of his medical pod. The tall, elegant Valor leader, crystalline features unreadable as always, but his eyes, those swirling pools of violet and gold, held something Marcus had never seen in a Valor before. Raw, unfiltered emotion. Ambassador Chenvarin's voice resonated with harmonics that human vocal cords could never reproduce. "You saved my daughter's life. There are no words in any language, human or Valor, that adequately express what is in my heart." Marcus tried to sit up, winced, and settled back down. "Just doing what anyone would do, Chancellor." "No." Fine stepped closer, and for the first time in the 2 years Marcus had known him, the Chancellor's composed facade cracked. Not anyone. 37 Valoricitizens were in that marketplace. Security personnel, trained soldiers, civilians, all froze. All watched. Only you moved. Only you acted. Only the human threw himself into death's path for a child not of his species. The door to the medical bay slid open, and Zelthara entered, moving with the careful grace of Valori youth. Her eyes locked onto Marcus, and she rushed forward, stopping just short of his bed. In her hands, she held something that made Marcus's breath catch, a crystalline heart, the highest honor in Valor culture, given only once per generation. The council convened emergency session. Furin continued, his voice thick with emotion. "Unanimous decision, first time in 8,000 years of Valori history." He gestured to his daughter, who carefully placed the glowing crystal pendant on Marcus's chest. It pulsed with warm light, seeming to resonate with his heartbeat. "For your sacrifice, Ambassador Marcus Chen of Earth, we grant you and your species full integration status within the Confederation. Not as junior members, not as probationary allies, as equals, full voting rights, full technological exchange, full military cooperation." Voron's eyes swirled with colors Marcus had never seen in Valori before, colors she would later learn represented profound respect and familial love. Marcus stared at the crystal. then at Zelthar's tear-streaked face, then at Vorin. I didn't do it forwards, Chancellor. I did it because it was right. We know, Vorin said softly. That is precisely why you are worthy of this honor. That is why humanity is worthy. He placed a hand over his heart in the velour gesture of deepest respect. My daughter lives because of you. But more than that, you have shown us something we had forgotten in our millennia of calculated diplomacy and careful alliances. That some beings will sacrifice everything for others without hesitation or agenda. Zelthara finally spoke, her young voice trembling but clear. I asked Father why you did it, why a human would take arrows meant for a velour. He said he did not know. She looked up at Marcus with those enormous luminous eyes. But I know you did it because you are good. Not human good or veli good, just good. Marcus felt tears prick his eyes. The scars across his back throbbed with phantom pain. A sensation his doctor said would never fully fade. Each twinge would be a reminder of those 3 arrows. That split-second decision. That eternal moment of agony. He looked at the little girl whose life he'd saved. At her, Father, whose rigid diplomatic mask had crumbled to reveal genuine love and gratitude. At the crystalline heart glowing on his chest that represented a new era for humanity among the stars. Every scar was worth it. Every single one. Thank you, Marcus whispered. But the real reward, he smiled at Zelthara. The real reward was seeing you alive. Everything else is just bonus. Zelthara burst into tears and disregarding. Valori protocols about physical contact threw her arms around Marcus in a careful hug. Vorin watched his daughter embrace the human who'd saved her life, and for the first time since the incident allowed himself to weep. In the halls of the Valori Confederation, they would tell this story for generations. The day a human taught them that true courage knows no species. The day the aliens learned that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology, their adaptability, or their resilience. It was their willingness to be heroes when heroism was needed most. Marcus Chen wore his scars with quiet pride for the rest of his long life. And every time someone asked if saving that alien girl had been worth the pain, he would smile and touch the faded marks on his shoulder. Every single scar, he would say. Worth every single one.